All right. What's up, folks? Justin Phillip here, back again with a little lighting test. Today we are going for what I like to call the teeny bopper 90s vampire look. Interpret that however you may. I started just thinking overall in terms of a nice soft day interior light. I wanted to play around with full grid diffusion. So I made this little book light first, and we'll just quickly show you this. It's pretty simple, just 2 flags, and all I had laying around was a beadboard, so I flipped it around and used the silver side because I was only using my Kino Diva 2 bank, the LED version, DIY LED version there. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link in the cards and down in the show notes below. So you'll see there the Kino Diva 2 bank, not a whole lot of punch, so I flipped that beadboard around to the silver side, cranked that Diva all the way up and blasted into the silver and bounced it out back through the full grid of diffusion. By the way, you can get these big sheets of diffusion, and also you see those big flags of Duvetyne there. I got all that stuff from the Expendables recycler up in the valley. He's not sponsoring this video. I just thought I'd give him a shout out in case you live in LA and you never heard of him or been over there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So then you'll notice there, I didn't think that Diva 2 bank would hold up very well for making a book light, but it actually was quite pleasant looking. So we just may or may not use that throughout the, I don't know, whenever. But then we looked at these reference photos here, and then I said, oh yeah, now we're on to something. So I ditched the book light altogether, wanted something a little bit more harsher than that, and so, but I kept the Diva 2 bank, and this time I just, you know, the Faux, these little, they call them bras, but they're actually called Faux. They used to come with all the Diva light fixtures, and they're basically just full grids. They are full grids, and they have little bungee cords in them because they're specifically made for the Kino lights, and you just wrap them around it. And the one that I had for my 2 bank was like an unbleached full grid, which is pretty cool. Actually, give them more a little bit of a warmy look to those LED daylight balanced bulbs. So I used that as the key light, but then I took a couple flags and was using the beadboard as a faux flag on one side, but basically just used those, created huge barn doors for that Kino Diva to kind of, you know, really narrow that light in on our mannequin friend, Stand-In Sally. I'm gonna go ahead and dub her Stand-In Sally, right? So Stand-In Sally's there, and she's getting that light from the Kino Diva 2 bank. And then in the background, we had the Xmas lights, you know, because in that Buffy the Vampire reference shot, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, reds and blues. So I took an Aputure F7, my new little favorite mini LED panel, put a red party gel on that and bounced that up in the ceiling in the back. But to separate that, I threw a flag in there, you know, to separate between the talent and the light. Okay, kind of helps separate some separation between the background and the talent, but then also, or Stand-In Sally, there is no talent here, let's be honest, the mannequin's not doing a song and dance. And then I took one of those little fake little quasar little LED baby tubes, put it on daylight balance, and then wrapped it in a blue gel, and just stuck it on behind the Stand-In Sally there, and then shot it at the wall so it bounced back. So that's where the blues and reds are coming from, plus the little Xmas lights. And then we wanted to mimic that little 6-point star effect, and you do that with a, spoiler alert, a 6-point star filter. And I say spoiler alert because I have a video coming up in the future of all of the awesome, amazing filters that I have been accumulating and I've been using in my new wooden camera Zipbox Pro matte box. If you haven't seen the review on that, check it out. It's getting a little bit of attention, I guess, compared to most of my videos, let's be honest here. And to get the star effect, you have to stop down, but I didn't want to stop down too far. I just brought the Contax Zeiss 50mm 1.4, brought it down to a f4, right? And then I just needed to pump up a little bit more. I made that Kino Diva a little punchier, a little brighter, because I do want that reading at an f4, but yet the background was going to stay dark because of that big flag I put back there, and the darkness really helped bring out that little 6-point star effect. And as you'll see here, the darker you make it, the more amazing that 6-point star effect has on your specular highlights. That's a pretty cool thing. I really like that filter. And then I dropped in another filter, the Twilight Grad filter, and I did use that on a recent music video shot too, and that gives it an overall nice blue look. And here you'll see me testing out a couple other ones. I tested out the Coral filter, which gives it a kind of a warms it up a little bit, and almost a little orangey red, and then the Sunset filter too, because I was thinking, well, what if we went the red side? But I wasn't really digging that color. I was digging the blue more, so we went with the 6-point star filter in combination with the Twilight Gradual filter from Tiffin. As I said, I have lots of filters. I have been dropping loads of money and energy on picking up filters. For instance, this right here is being shot with a secret filter that I will reveal much later on. But the lens is one of my favorite new zoom lenses, the Contax Zeiss 28 to 85. Pretty awesome lens. And here you'll see the graded image final look here. And I kind of dig it. I kind of look, as you know, it's going for this interesting kind of dreamy, teeny bopper kind of 80s, 90s movie look. So yeah, that's what we came up with. And back to talking about the Twilight filter. I used it on a recent shoot. I shot a music video. If you pay attention or follow me on Instagram, shameless plug, at JPOnFilm, you'll notice that I shot a music video over the weekend on the Red Dragon 6K along with Zeiss Cine lenses, the CP3s. So those are the new ones, I guess. However, they're not that fast. They're only a T2.1. Now, I'm a little spoiled because I've been shooting, I've been collecting Contax Zeiss Super Speed, so I'm working with 1.4s, and then before that, the Rokinon Cines, they're 1.5. So going from that to a T2.1 was a little depressing, but I mean, those lenses are great. When we were shooting out on the beach, wow, they look fantastic. But when we went indoors, I was not that impressed with the lenses nor that camera. Now, that Red Dragon 6K is 5 years old, I'm pretty sure, so yeah, I imagine back then it was great, but no, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, this is an APS-C sensor, or maybe even full frame, I don't know what it is, but I wasn't that impressed with the low light capabilities of that camera. Granted, we were shooting at 60 frames per second for most of the time, and I did have a few filters dropped in the matte box, so I was making it a little harder on myself, but I was pumping a lot of light into very small rooms, and we were having to crank that ISO pretty high, a little dangerously high in my opinion. So I guess we're pushing that 6K Red RAW to the max to see how far we can go before a lot of crappy noise is introduced. So we'll see what the final outlook looks like. By the way, if you're interested in more of a breakdown once that video does drop, the only way to get your hands on that will be to join us over at the Dog Times Productions Patreon page. That's where we're doing all the new behind-the-scenes stuff. We got the feature film coming up, 2 more additional music videos, and an original Dog Times Productions short film. So lots of cool stuff coming up, and the only way to get like an exclusive behind the scenes all access pass, so to speak. I don't want to sound too much like a tool bag, but too late for that. I guess I was born. Yeah, so that's kind of the way to get that. We're going to be, breaking down everything involved with it. So if you're into these lighting tests kind of things and you want to see more of it in action on the day when we're actually shooting somewhere, the only way to really see that, other than, brief Instagram stories, is to follow on the Patreon page. I will say it will cost you more to park for an hour in LA than it would be to join us over on the Dog Times Productions page. So maybe you should check it out. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description below. And people say, well, why are you doing that, man? Why are you taking the stuff away that you were originally doing on YouTube? Well, there's a simple answer for that, folks. And the answer is when you are in indie filmmaking or any filmmaking mode, I don't care what budget it is, you are not alone. Even though I'm usually strictly only talking about the cinematography, at the end of the day, people might take it the wrong way, and people are sensitive, especially artists, right? And it's not for me to call what we're doing art. It's up to the audience to interpret it as such, and they can decide if it's art or not. But beyond that, I do have to be sensitive to other hypersensitive people's feelings and things, so I have to remember it is a collaborative work, and I didn't make it all by myself, even though I am primarily talking about the cinematography. Still, I need to be aware of that, and I need to respect that. So that is why those things are made exclusively in the Patreon world, kind of a closer, tight-knit community, and not just thrown all over YouTube and everybody's little grubby paws are all over it. So with that being said, do yourselves a favor, call your grandmas, and for now, that is a wrap.